Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Speaker, the House is coming to order. Mr. Speaker, we just passed a bipartisan bill that addressed an issue, as the previous speaker said, that needed to be addressed. Yesterday, Mr. Speaker, the Supreme Court handed down a decision in Alabama Legislative Caucus versus Alabama, which ought to give every member pause regarding the position that federal voting protections are no longer needed to ensure that all Americans can register and vote. The court found that Alabama legislators may have drawn congressional districts after the last census in a manner that diluted the voting strength of African Americans. The court raised disturbing questions, Mr. Speaker, about how African Americans are represented in Alabama's congressional districts, and returned the case to a lower court for further consideration. Mr. Speaker, we're a nation that prides itself on its unflinching willingness to confront its sins of segregation and voter suppression that kept millions of Americans from participating equally for generations. On the same day the court ruled, we marked the 50th anniversary of the Selma marchers finally reaching Montgomery. Such anniversaries are reminders of how much or how little progress we've made to realize the principles and rights embodied in our Constitution. With that in mind, Mr. Speaker, I urge us to proceed as we did today in a bipartisan fashion to restore the Voting Rights Act to its full force and effect to protect all Americans. And I urge my colleagues to work together to bring the Bipartisan Voting Rights Amendment Act to the floor and restore the full power of the Voting Rights Act without delay. We acted in a bipartisan fashion today. Let's do it tomorrow on the Voting Rights Act, and I yield back the balance of my time.